Welcome to Mobility Matters, the biweekly live stream show covering transportation topics of interest presented by the Citizens Independent Transportation Trust. And if you didn't know, that is the organization overseeing the use of the half-penny sales tax in Miami-Dade County. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm Cheryl Mizell, CITT Ambassador Program Coordinator, and today for your regular host, Javier Betancourt. He's the Executive Director of the Citizens Independent Transportation Trust. And I come in, when he can't, to keep you informed about volunteering for the CITT ambassadors who ride transit, which is a little similar to the Secret Shoppers program that you might be familiar with. And they use a mobile app to get feedback. And then they provide that feedback to us, and in exchange, they get rewards, all to help us improve the transit services here in Miami-Dade County. And by the way, if you are a frequent transit rider, then stay close, because in a couple of minutes or so, we'll talk a little bit more about how you can get started earning rewards, such as transit passes and credits for Uber and Lyft, car sharing, and bike sharing. Okay, but right now I'd like to take a minute to introduce you to our featured guest of Mobility Matters. And in a few minutes, he'll be able to tell you a little bit more about himself. Now, this young man is a transit activist. He's the founder and former president of a transit advocacy group, the Miami Riders Alliance. Welcome to Mobility Matters, Kevin Amézaga. Did I get it right?
Very close.
I'll keep practicing. Welcome. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
And I'm looking forward to hearing more about the Riders Alliance and some of the concerns and the accomplishments that have taken place over the existence of the organization. So again, thank you. Kevin, right before we get started, I just want to take that minute and reach out to our viewing audience to let them know that they can visit our website and how to apply to become a CITT Trust member or a CITT ambassador. And that's very simple. Just go to miamidade.gov/CITT. And you'll also see a crawler across your screen if you didn't get a chance to write that down, so that you can go there during the show whenever you get ready to check it out. And as I mentioned, if you know someone who's a frequent transit rider who likes to give feedback and receive rewards, then you can also take a picture of that QR code that you see on the screen, and it'll take you directly to the homepage where you'll see an application where you can apply to become a CITT ambassador. With that, we'll turn to Kevin and let's hear all about your journey, your background. Let's start with your background, and then we'll talk about the journey of the Miami Riders Alliance.
Thanks, and thanks for having me on the show. My name is Kevin Amézaga. I'm born and raised here in Miami, grew up in Kendall for my entire life, an NFIU alumnus. Really loved Miami, and as I was growing up, when I was in high school, my mom actually dropped me off at the Perez Art Museum in freshman year of high school, and I was with my friends. We took the Metro Mover to Bayside, and I told my mom, and I was like, can I just take the Metro Rail home? She was like, well, I would pick you up from Dadeland North. And so my friend and I went to Bayside and had a great time and walked around downtown for the first time that I had done it, because I pretty much spent my entire life in Kendall.
And be grown up, yeah, right?
Be grown up, take Metro Rail like a big city boy. And I took Metro Rail to Dadeland North, which is the closest stop to my house, and my mom picked us up at the station. And when I got home, I sort of started doing a little bit of research and finding out, why doesn't this go closer to my house? Why can't I take it home? And why can't I take a bus home or whatever to connect to it? And I stumbled upon the Smart Plan, which had just been rebranded at the time. This was about 2016. And I saw all these great plans to put Metro Rail down Kendall Drive and through all these other corridors as well, and started reading through the history of constructing Metro Rail and all of the broken promises since then. And I realized that nobody was really getting involved in expanding the system from the community side. A lot of it was just studies being done by transportation professionals, staff, all of that. So I felt like there really needed to be a voice in the community to expand the system, expand active mobility things like bike lanes and bike share and scooter share and all of that as well. But it was really just growing up in the suburbs and not having access to the independence that transit provides a lot of different youth in different cities to fight for that in my community.
Yeah, that was a lot to take on, and so this was like over the course of how much time? I mean, from the time you started, like you started exploring the alternatives to full activist. What was the course of time?
So, I got more active on Twitter at the time and started following a lot of the people that were talking about local politics, reporters, journalists, and the like. And
still in high school, though.
Still in high school. And the next year, I even got involved in nonprofits. I started actually working for Neighbors for Neighbors, which is an organization that connects those in help, or those in need with those who can help. And I was their IT specialist. I work in IT.
Oh, okay.
And I learned a lot from that organization and how to sort of build a nonprofit, build the connections with community members. And shout out to Katie Marr, who is a fantastic executive director of that organization.
If I remember, they started with Andrew.
They did.
Hurricane Andrew. I was still in radio those days, and I remember and I can't recall the woman who was at the heart of it, but it's amazing that it's still around and still doing good.
Yeah, it is. They're doing a great job in the community, and I learned a lot from them. And I made a lot of those connections that I needed to sort of get more involved in local politics. And I was about 17 or 18, creating a nonprofit, like actually getting 501c3 and 501c4 designations to actually lobby the government. And we did. We worked with a lot of local politicians to even sometimes impact legislation. For example, there was legislation that was going to be passed that would have changed county policy to not allow vehicular access to metropolitan parks in Miami-Dade County because of some issues with cut-through traffic of some neighborhoods. The issue is state law also classifies a bicycle as a vehicle. So we needed to get that legislation amended to actually specifically say automotive traffic. And things like that. But the organization, when I was the president of it, dealt with a lot of active mobility issues as well. We fought for pedestrianized Ocean Drive during the pandemic, the scooter program in the city of Miami, which actually funded protected bike lanes in downtown Miami, which are still around, still in use, and apparently being upgraded, as I've been told by DTPW this week. And Slow Streets programs in South Beach as well.
Say more about what that is.
So the Slow Streets program in South Beach was a program that the city of Miami Beach started during the pandemic to make it more friendly for Miami Beach residents to bike, skateboard, play in the streets. Even they used physical separators and barriers so that drivers would have to slow down.
Slow.
Yeah. We're all in a rush, but safety is also important. And I actually toured them with the CITT a couple years ago now.
I see.
And it was a great program. Unfortunately, it's no longer active, but it really did help to slow down drivers. They paid more attention to stop signs, paid more attention to people bicycling in the street, and it connected a lot of important corridors like the Washington Avenue bike lanes that used to exist when I first moved to South Beach. And it was a great program. I really enjoyed it. I rode my bike everywhere and walked.
And so, how often do you use public transportation now?
I use it probably about a few times a week. I live downtown in downtown Miami now.
Okay.
There's a Metro Mover station under my building, so it's very convenient for me.
I say.
And when I stay downtown, there's really no reason to drive. Looking for parking is going to take more time than just walking or taking the Metro Mover. It gets a little tricky when I have to get out of downtown, and sometimes I do have to drive to work. I don't feel safe biking. Transit isn't that reliable. I work in Midtown.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes I have to drive. But when I go to the airport, I'm a frequent flyer out of MIA. When I go to the airport, I try to take Metro Rail as much as I can. Can't take it on weekends or late nights because it's single tracking and the headways are unreliable. The on-time performance is about 50%. But I love using public transportation. Whenever I go to other cities, I always take public transportation, rarely ever get an Uber. And I think public transportation and an active transportation like bike share and all of those programs, they're really freedom. Freedom from paying for parking, freedom from car expenses. I'm sure we're all, really experiencing that pull on our wallets with the car insurance rates going up significantly over the past few years. A transit pass hasn't,
Good point.
So I think that cars are really a drain on a lot of us, and improving public transportation, especially for those who aren't as fortunate among us, is really important and should be a very important priority for any politician right now.
So when you go to other cities, what are some of the features or operations that are in place there that you wish were here?
In a lot of cities, a lot of American transit right now is going through a financial crisis. A lot of cities. And when I go to a city and I ride transit, there are a few things that I look out for. That's things like coverage. So how close are the nearest metro stations, like rapid transit stations, to where I need to go, and within the core of the city as well. So in places like Houston, which you wouldn't think are actually that great for public transportation, actually have really great coverage. And their services pretty frequent on a lot of their bus routes and their light rail routes, and they're and reliable. So they actually come. The ghost buses there that don't show up aren't a problem. Same with places like New York, which has their subway and it's fast, frequent, and reliable generally. Their on-time performance is somewhere in the 80s. And there's places like Washington, D.C. It has great coverage. Their bus routes are frequent, rapid. And when there's an issue, they communicate it out to their patrons. And it's sort of a recent development for them. It hasn't always been that way. But when transit management actually values its riders, those are the type of things that you can look out for. My experience in Miami-Dade Transit, when I try to ride the bus, I live downtown. I frequent South Beach a lot. I have a lot of friends over there. I like going out to the restaurants and bars and stuff like that. And I'd rather not drive. And on paper, it looks like there are a lot of really great routes that go to Miami Beach from downtown. The 20, the 100. And I've been burned several times trying to go to Miami Beach. I've gotten stuck waiting for the bus for 40 minutes. I've had several buses pass me because they're full.
Gotcha.
And the 100 is the highest ridership route on Miami-Dade Transit. And we're still not running articulated buses on them, so we don't have the capacity on that route. And then sometimes the headways are just very unreliable. So it just deters me from making that choice to ride the bus, which I have no issue with. I love riding the bus. $2, that's cheaper than the cheapest parking in Miami Beach. It's about the same amount of time. It's going on the same causeway. But just not knowing whether I can get there on time or not really makes it not an option most of the time.
Sure.
And I end up either driving, taking an Uber, which has gotten a lot more expensive over the past couple of years. And it makes me feel like I have to have a car. So now I have car payments and I have car insurance and gas, and any maintenance. And I've had terrible luck with cars. So it's something that I feel like as a young professional, with rent going up and wages in Miami sort of stagnating. I'm a professional and I'm paid well, and it still feels like it's hard to thrive here in Miami with all of these cost of living things, especially transportation, which eats up a lot of my budget.
Yeah, you mentioned you're IT and
Yes.
IT engineer. What's that like?
It's great. I love IT engineering. I'm an IT engineer right now for OpenStore. It's a Miami-based startup. We work in e-commerce, and I love it. I love IT engineering so much. My father is actually an IT engineer as well.
Oh, wow.
So I guess it's the family trade. And I really love it. I like dealing with computers. I like security as well, like cybersecurity. And it's fun. And there's not much of it in Miami. But when you can find a role, it's great.
So when with Miami Writers Alliance, having been a founder and the president, what are you most proud of in terms of the things that you got done as part of that group?
It's tough to think about sometimes. That's the reason why we don't really do a lot of the activism anymore. Is a lot of the policies that we fought for actually got reversed.
Reversed?
They did. So a lot of the things that we got done, especially during the pandemic, we got a pedestrianized Ocean Drive. We got Washington Avenue bike lanes, the Slow Streets program in Miami Beach, protected bike lanes in downtown Miami, funded by the scooter program, which no longer exists. They sort of took their money and ran, which is great. Now we have bike lanes, but we don't have the scooters to fund them anymore, so we can't expand the network. And it's, it's sad. But I'm happy that we had those things as a short time that we did, and we saw that they worked. So we know that the whole idea that Miamians, it's too hot to bike, this is a driving city, we know that that's not true. We know that when people are given options, and safe options at that, they will choose them. And when you build it, the people will come. The same as any highway project, and the reason why, even though we improve every interchange, we still get congested over and over again. But this is the type of induced demand that we actually want. We want people to switch from driving when they don't have to using these programs or these options, bike share, biking, walking, and driving if you need to as well. And we fought for a lot of things. We fought against the metro, not the Metro Mover, the monorail to South Beach. We want Metro Mover. We want an interconnected system that doesn't drive up the costs so that we can get more transit for more dollars.
I see.
And a few things like the policy there. And we talked a lot with commissioners about a bunch of different policies that it's hard to remember now. But sort of those programs are what I worked on the most.
Well, I think you planted a lot of seeds. So even though things may have gotten reversed or, they didn't progress the way you wanted to, sometimes those seeds are more important than, the actual tangible things, because they plow the ground for others to do something maybe even bigger, or something that's more lasting, or that's more impactful than what you were able to accomplish, having to first get people's attention.
Yeah.
It's really hard when you first break the ground. That's the hardest part. But after you've plowed the ground, it makes it a little easier for somebody else to come along and do something else with it. So
yeah, I agree. Even if we see it as a test, now we know, and we see it just as a policy choice, and we don't see it as any sort of natural force.
So if you just started watching, this is Mobility Matters, presented by the Citizens Independent Transportation Trust, streaming from Community News Network. You can follow us on social media at GoCITT on X, or Transportation Trust, or and you can use the hashtag CITT Ambassador to see what the ambassadors are doing. And of course, we want you to like us. I'm Cheryl Mizell, your host and CITT Ambassador Program Coordinator, and my guest is Kevin Amézaga. Did I get a little closer?
Closer.
Yeah. Got a B+ this time, maybe?
Yeah.
And he's a transit activist, formerly the president of the Miami Riders Alliance, which is an advocacy group. Kevin, I was wondering, I'm thinking about those years. You did all this while you were still in high school. What can you say to young people who might be listening or be just curious about, how to take on a cause and, how to get things done, get change, how to work with government and elected officials, or people who are in other nonprofits to get those things done. What was the key? I mean, that was a major accomplishment. The things you got done. I mean, as a student in high school.
I would say speak up. Nobody's talking. And if you're a loud voice, you're going to be heard, especially in Miami. People sort of accept that things are going to be the way that they are here, and it's not the case. And I was somebody who didn't accept that. I wanted better for the city that I grew up in, and I love Miami, and I love its people. And I wanted to improve it. I knew that it could be improved because I've seen what we do when we care. We built Metro Rail. We built Metro Mover. And if you're a young person that wants to get involved, look up who your commissioner is. Mm-hmm. Look up what transit advocacy groups there are right now. Transit Alliance is doing work in the space as well. Meet with them, talk to them, get educated about what is going on, what projects have already happened and what's happened in the past and what didn't work. And that way you can be a more informed citizen. We don't have enough of those. We need them. We need more young people to care. And it's funny because when I was doing all of this work and all of my peers were like, that's so true. They're like, we don't want to have to drive. And the data shows that actually that young people are getting licenses and getting cars at a much lower rate than any other generation. We can't afford it, number one. But we don't want it. We value walkability and we value the freedom that transit provides, you don't without having to think about your car.
Not to mention the good health that comes from all the walking.
Exactly. Walking and all of that. It's the reason why other countries have better health outcomes a lot of the time. So for young people, for people in other sectors that want to get involved, I am not a professional activist. I never got paid for my work for the Miami Riders Alliance. I really relied on my income from my job to do it. And
so you were working full time and doing all that,
doing activism.
Wow, you were really busy.
Yeah. I don't know how I did it now when I look back. One of those things where when you're really passionate about something,
true,
you find a way.
Absolutely.
And for young people who are looking to get involved, who want a better community, you just have to get out there and do it. And you have to write to your commissioners, develop that relationship with them. Most people on the commission know who I am, and I can reach out to them and get some answers when I need them. As well as the CITT, which has been a great resource as well. It's a lot of great people, especially their staff, that really want to improve transportation, see that the half penny is used wisely, and to improve our community for all who have been here, all for those who are coming and who have come before. Miami really is a city for everybody, and we want to make sure that it can continue to be.
I love this city. I mean, it's so beautiful to live here. We don't take as much advantage of it as we really should. People travel from everywhere to get here, and we don't really get out and take it as much advantage as we could. But certainly, improving the transportation system could connect a lot of areas that are kind of hard to get to. That are beautiful but hard to get to. So yeah. So tell us what's next for you.
So I continuing my career. I love working in IT. I'm actually following a job to Washington D.C.
Ah, my
So
second home.
very
Good for
excited.
you.
Thank you. And I'm excited because it is a place where you don't really need a car. I'm actually selling my car tomorrow.
Wow.
Getting rid of that burden, and it actually frees up a lot of money to you know do a lot of different things that I've wanted to do, health, like fitness and things like that I previously couldn't afford, and travel and getting to see the world. It's amazing what you can do when you're not weighed down by a car. My car payment is probably 3 times what a WMATA unlimited pass is for the month. So I'm excited. I'm really excited to walk a lot more and take public transportation and bike, and be in a place that values all of those things. But of course, I'm gonna miss Miami, and Miami is a gorgeous city, and it's my home, and my family's here, and it has a lot of great bones to build things. And I know that there are a lot of people who are joining the trust and joining the commission, and a lot of young people who see it that way as well. Young people travel a lot more,
Mm-hmm.
and they see other cities and they see what works, and they want it here. And I think that when those people actually get up and vote and start being loud about it, it'll come, just like it did in the 80s and the 70s when we built Metro Rail.
Excellent. Well, we wish you much success as you embark on my second favorite city. um, and, hopefully, maybe things get a little further down the line. You decide to come back. Maybe you'll see some of those improvements that you've been wanting to see, and will make Miami the city that it can be.
I would love that.
Yeah, well, we thank you so much for coming on this morning and giving us some insight as to what the Miami Alliance was all about, and the role that you played, and some of the things that got accomplished, and some things we can look forward to.
Thank you.
And thank you to our listeners for joining us today. If you missed any part of the show and would like to see it, you can watch from the beginning. Just check back for the links on our our Facebook page for the full video. And a special guest, Kevin Amézaga. I'm getting there. Someone who's had that Z in the last name just always throws people off, even when it's even. Well, Kevin is a transit activist with the advocacy group Miami Riders Alliance. And if you remember, just remember to visit us on the CITT website, which is miamidade.gov/CITT. I'm Cheryl Mizell, and Javier Betancourt will be here in 2 weeks. You can join him then. But until then, just keep moving forward.